Okay, so now we move into the next section of the chapter. We've gone through just the technicalities of how to make these charts, and now we're going to talk about formatting some of the chart elements to have them look the way that you want. And the first part of this section really, I'm not gonna go through the process of showing you how to do all of these formatting. It's really, it's a matter of personal taste. You basically select the element of the chart that you want to format, right click, and then you can format, anything. You can make it bold, you can make it, look how you want. You can put them closer together, whatever you want to do. So that's really no big deal. And the reason I'm not going to spend a ton of time is because it seems to me that every time they update Excel, the procedures for doing this change. And so it's the kind of thing where if you have an idea of what you want your chart to look like and what you want the axes and all the different elements to look like, you've kind of just got to hunt around until you find the menu that will allow you to make the changes that you want. What I will spend some time going through, though, is if we scroll down into the lower portion of this section, you come to a section that's called Adding Series and Lines and Annotations to a Chart. And this is kind of a cool trick. So let's go over to the enrollment statistics. Okay, so here is our enrollment stacked column chart. And what we want to do first of all is move it into its own tab. So let's go ahead and do that. And okay, we're going to move it to a new sheet. We're going to call it Enrollment by Race. Okay, and we are going to hit OK. And now it's over here in its own whole page. It's a little bit too big right now, so let's just make it a little bit smaller. There we go. Oh, maybe not that small. Okay, now this is where we're aiming, right? What we want to do is to be able to compare more easily the differences in the racial makeup and the ethnic makeup of these different community colleges by adding these lines between the subsets of the data. Okay, so let's go ahead and proceed. So we want to click anywhere in the data table, the x-axis, to activate it. Okay. And then using the home ribbon, we want to change the font to Arial, bold, size 12. Okay, that's easy enough. Now it's bigger, so that's nice. And then activate the y-axis, so y is the one that goes up and down. Okay, and again, I had to click through that a couple of times before I got the actual axis to highlight for me. So just keep at it with these charts, okay? All right, so we also want that to be Arial, bold, and 12. Arial, bold, and 12. Okay, so there's that. And then we want to add a y-axis title by using Add Charts element, Axis Titles, and then more Axis Title options. So we want to go into the chart design. Okay, add a chart element, Axis Titles, more Axis Title options. Then using the Home tab, right, so we want to set that to be Arial, bold, 14, right, and then we're going to give it the name. Okay, so we go in here, we click in there. and call it percent enrollment by enrollments. Enrollment by race. There's that. Move that over. And I guess my title options didn't stick, and that's okay. You know what? It would have looked weird with a lot of formatting. And then, right, that was just formatting the chart to how it looked. And we can also change the chart title to enrollment by race, make it bold and all that stuff. So we can make that Arial bold. And we'll make that 16. How about? Arial bold and 16. There it is. Okay, now we've got this with all of our chart elements formatted the way we want them. And then what we need to do is we close the formatting chart. Then what we need to do, okay, we go chart design, and then, this is really cool, we add a chart element, and you look up for lines, and then series lines, and that will show you the relative representation of each of these ethnicities within these different community colleges in a much more visible way. So now what we can do is we can make them even bigger. So we go in, let's see, so if we right click on any of those series lines, and again, there we go. Again, it's quite, it's challenging to figure out where you're supposed to be clicking. So what I did just there is I left clicked. Now I right clicked, and there's an option for formatting series lines. The width down here to 2.25. They were saying, yeah, that looks good. And now we can really see a little bit better what these comparators are. Okay, so that's that. Close that out so we can see more easily, right, the difference in the racial or ethnic makeup between these community colleges. Okay, so these are quite commonly used when you're doing stacked percentage charts, right? And so the last thing that would be helpful is to look at the total enrollment in each college. Right, and so let's add text boxes above each column, and then we want to go to the Insert tab, and all the way over here, right, there's an option for inserting text. We want to insert a text box. And then once it's placed and you see the cursor there, you can say total enrollment. Right, enrollment. And then you can insert another text box. Insert, text box, put one here. And that's, let's see, Mount Hood is 9276. There we go. Now it's showing. You get the idea, right? And this is like I keep saying. Now what I would suggest is copy and then paste that. Paste. If you go Command C, and then Command V, right? You can just move those text boxes with the numbers in them over to where you want them, and then just change the numbers instead of going through that insert process again. Then we can change the numbers to what they're supposed to be. Portland Community College, obviously the biggest. At 30,929. And Clackamas is the smallest at 7,302. And I think that we are done here, right? So you see how it takes a little bit of work to get charts looking right, but it can pack a lot of information in it through a combination of formatting and selective displays of the appropriate data, right? So we can just, actually this probably needs to be just a little bit neater. So we'll have this total enrollment so that we can see it a little better. And, this is a nice looking chart. And it gives you a lot of really good information, right? And so that's the end of the formatting piece.